Growing up, my mom used to lovingly call me Kamchor in Hindi. That means someone who avoids work. And back in the day, it was funny, but as I grew up, for someone trying to be a functioning adult, it quickly became a huge problem. So I had to peel back layers of my mind, body, and soul to really understand what's going on and figure out how to shed this identity.
Cause it's my lazy day, just wanna lazy away. Cause it's my lazy day, just wanna lazy away. Ain't gonna do a thing for the rest of the day.
Hello everyone, welcome to Enter Samatvam. If you're new here, I'm Shruti, and at Enter Samatvam we discuss how to live a more fulfilling life through self-awareness and other topics related to mindfulness, spirituality, and personal growth. Laziness is not a fixed identity. It's a choice, a behavior that shows up as mental resistance, mental inertia, or procrastination. One technique in particular has been a game changer for me. So, watch the video till the end to find out more. Most of my life, I ran away from work subconsciously. And when it came to the action I actually wanted to take, I was still running away. I had become used to escaping from the discomfort I felt within. In school and college, whenever I had exams I had to study, I would want to get over the hard part of studying quickly, and I just wanted to get to the part where I would get good marks. And except for one or two subjects like biology or organic chemistry or math, I think for the rest of the subjects, I never enjoyed studying. And in fact, even for these subjects, when it came to the exams, I would keep it till the last minute, procrastinate, and I would over stress on what the result is going to be. And I was a decent student, I scored well, but I feel I never prioritized learning. I don't think I ever really stayed present to actually learning the subject. The need for a good outcome was so overpowering that it stressed me out during the exams, and I put a lot of pressure on myself to secure really good marks. And that's how I got into a bad relationship with learning. Deep down, I felt I was really bad at picking up anything new. And that meant stagnating at my work in my 20s. I thought laziness had become my personality, but you see, in truth, each time resistance, inertia, or procrastination hit, I chose the easier route, and the more I chose it, the more habitual it became. I was convinced that I lacked willpower, and that lowered my confidence and self esteem. A generic template of victimhood thus played in my head on why life was so mediocre for me. Eventually, I suffered enough to turn towards spirituality, mindfulness, and I attended a lot of meditation retreats, took guidance from my husband and several other mentors, and finally, in the end of 2023, I attended a Vipassana retreat. For the first time, I committed myself so deeply to a process that it helped break through several of the mental patterns I'd accumulated and cemented deep down. So, one thing became quite clear to me, that is, our mindset matters, because our mindset is nothing but the belief system that we have formed that controls our reality and how we experience circumstances in our life. I recently made a video on this to explain further, so if you're interested, check the link down in the description below or the one above here. And so, understanding one's mindset is the key to transformation. There are few things that I learned about myself when it comes to the mindset behind laziness. I only want to take action when it's very clear why I want to do it. Not because of some motivation from outside, but what does it make me feel when taking that action? So get clear on why do you want to take the action in the first place. What does it make you feel? Does it make you feel alive, or do you feel joy from within? And not because someone else expects you to do it or to receive praises from others. And it is easy to confuse it with activities like watching TV or binging a show, but those are just cheap dopamine hits and eventually they lead to a crash and burn. This subconscious mindset that I have a lot of time. So I used to feel this often and I didn't even know I was subconsciously thinking of it this way. But there was always this feeling that, oh, there is time, I'll get to it sometime. I'll get to it one day. That's okay to some degree, but we all know life is unexpected and it might sound morbid, but death is waiting for each of us. So until we take responsibility for our actions, to really understand what actions are worthy and of the choices we make, nothing in our lives will change. And as we all know, God helps those who help themselves. The angle that my mind used to take is we are all dying anyway, so why should I take the action? It's pointless. But knowing the why behind the action can help you get clarity on why you must get started on any initiative or new project. And a lot of times I would be blocked from proceeding ahead on a project or give up halfway because I had fear of failure or fear of imperfection. And that's why I had the inertia of figuring things out. I would also feel overwhelmed at the complexity of the tasks in front of me and that I didn't know how to approach it or I didn't have clarity on the next step. But I feel all of this boiled down to just one thing: not having clarity on why is it that I want to do this in the first place. When I knew my why clearly, I would do anything it takes to break down the problem into manageable chunks, simplify the process, and just make it overall easier on myself to approach it so I can get it done. And so the most critical learning lesson for me was to understand why I want to take up any action, any project. And once I have that clarity, it is easier to create a bias for action. So that way, if I'm faced with anything creative or anything complex, I'm able to become more effective at problem solving. Another common reason why I would procrastinate was when I would feel bored doing a certain task. And I realized it's because the mind has already mapped out all the possibilities. What that means is it anticipates it will feel a certain way doing that task and it thinks it's not going to be fun. But 9 times out of 10, when I've actually pushed myself to do those tasks, I don't think I've felt bored. So, for example, for me, washing dishes was something I never enjoyed. But I think over the last 2 years or so, I have really gotten to enjoy it. The way I did that was to create a ritual around it. So, you could put on some music or you could habit stack it. So, you could do it parallelly while you're doing something else. So, for instance, if I have something cooking on the stove, I would parallelly wash dishes, or you could also associate it with a certain time. So I typically try to wash dishes either in the mornings or the evenings before I get to bed or after I'm done with my morning routine. And so that's another way to get over resistance when you are in no mood to do a certain task but you have to do it. I also discovered that I had some physical factors that contributed to the overall lethargy and fatigue I felt. I had iron, B12, and D3 deficiencies. I made sure to cover these through nutritious diet, exposing myself consciously to the morning sunlight, and also taking up supplements from time to time after consulting my primary care physician. I also noticed that I felt a lot more energetic to work on hard tasks on days when I had smoothies in the mornings and had a wholesome but light meal that included proteins, carbs, veggies, enough greens, and fruits throughout the day. I would highly recommend getting yourself checked on these deficiencies and coming up with a nutritional plan for yourself after consulting your physician. I also felt a lot more lethargic during the colder months, especially here in San Francisco. And when I started exercising regularly, even if it was just for 2 to 3 times a week and just showing up to the mat for like a few minutes, that really helped increase my body temperature and giving me the energy boost I needed throughout the day. And of course, having a blanket ready close to me whenever I'm working and having hot tea or warm beverages throughout the day also really helped. Sometimes you think you want to do something, but it's not really what you want to do. It's not really aligned with what you're meant to be doing. And it's not aligned with who you really are or where life wants to take you or what you truly need to be successful. Or there are certain events that need to happen before you can get clarity on what to do next. But it's a tricky balance because it's hard to know if these soul factors are the reason why some things are not happening. So the best we can do is to see if the other factors related to our mind and body apply and try to rule them out. And well, if it still doesn't work out, then you let go and you surrender to life until it brings the right aligned action to you. At times, no matter what I do, I remain stuck in a pattern of inertia and nothing seems to work, and I'm not able to make a breakthrough. And now I see that on those days, perhaps the timing is just not right yet. And all I can do is try my best, but let go of the pressure I put on myself to get it done by a certain frame of time. And what has helped for me in these cases is to develop patience. Alright, so now for the bonus tip. One tool that every single person has is their breath. And one thing that has tremendously helped me is this breathing technique called Bhastrika Pranayama. I absolutely love this technique and it has been such a game changer for me, as I mentioned earlier. And Bhastrika is known to be a great caffeine replacement. And for someone who doesn't drink coffee and skips it entirely, probably the reason why, the tendency of lethargy has been so compounded in me as an adult, it has been a great energy booster. So now what I do is, whenever I wake up and I can feel inertia setting in, I'll just do a few rounds of Bhastrika right on my bed. And that gives me the energy I need to even show up to the yoga mat on days like that. And then sets the tone for the rest of the day. And there are a lot of studies being done today which show that Bhastrika not only reduces anxiety, but it also promotes and lights up activity in areas of the brain which are associated with emotional processing, attention, and awareness. And if you are interested in learning the technique, then I have a separate video on it. Give it a watch, and I hope it is as helpful for you as it has been for me. In conclusion, with complacency and procrastination, there is no guarantee that we won't see it again in the future. But what we can be sure of is getting better at the art of showing up every single time. And that is what it means to live more consciously. And yes, the reality will be different from our expectations and our daydreams, but I promise it will be much better from what we have imagined. You can be whoever you want to be. You only have to change your mind. The past is history. It doesn't exist. And the future, as we all know, is a mystery. But the present is a gift waiting to be opened, and you have full control over it. So step into the arena because the fun is in the fight. Choose one tip that seems easy for you and stick to it. Thank you for watching today's video. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up, it always means a lot, and subscribe to the channel to be notified on future content.